Most people think millionaires work more hours than everyone else. They don't. I've watched enough of them up close to know the truth. They work different hours. There's 1 hour they protect like it's sacred ground, and it has nothing to do with business calls or deal making, nothing to do with hustle or grind. It's quiet, it's private, and if you skip it, you can work 80-hour weeks for the rest of your life and still wake up broke at 65. I'm not talking about meditation or morning routines. I'm talking about something far more practical and far more rare. The wealthy understand something about time that the rest of the world has completely backwards, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. Here's what nobody tells you about wealth. It's not built at work. It's built in the margins. In the hour most people waste because they can't see its value yet. You've been lied to. They told you to work hard, stay late, and prove yourself. So you did. And you're still waiting, still struggling, still watching others with less experience live better lives. And the frustration is real because you've done everything right except the one thing that actually matters. The truth? Wealth isn't a reward for hard work. It's a reward for personal value. And personal value isn't built in your job. It's built in your philosophy, your thinking, your daily disciplines, the way you see yourself and the world around you. This is about the 1 hour that changes all of that. Not a morning routine, not a productivity hack. This is the hour where you stop being an employee and start becoming an asset, where you stop trading time for money and start building a life that pays you whether you're working or not. This isn't about doing more, it's about becoming more. Most advice tells you to add something, another side hustle, another strategy, another skill. I'm going to show you something simpler and more powerful. 1 hour of intentional self-development every single day. Not consuming content. Not scrolling success quotes. Real work. The kind that makes you uncomfortable because it forces you to look at who you've been and decide who you're going to become. The wealthy already know this. They live it. That's why they seem calm while everyone else is stressed. That's why their income grows while others plateau. They've mastered the hour nobody teaches. By the end of our time together today, you'll know exactly what to do in that hour, why it works, and how to protect it from a world that will try to steal it from you every single day. Let me start by telling you a story that changed everything for me. I'll never forget the day I met a man who shifted how I thought about wealth entirely. He wasn't rich yet, not by money standards anyway, but he was different. You could sense it immediately. Sharp, intentional, focused. He worked at a factory, same as everyone else on his shift, but while the other guys spent their lunch break complaining about the foreman, the pay, the hours, the weather, whatever they could find to complain about, he spent his reading. I was young and curious, so I asked him why. Most people would have been defensive. Most people don't like being different. But this man looked at me with the calmest expression and said something I've never forgotten. He said, "Jim, I'm not working here for the paycheck. I'm working here for the time. This job gives me just enough to survive while I build something nobody can see yet. Every day after work, I go home and I spend 1 hour studying people who've done what I want to do. I read their books. I study their thinking. I practice their disciplines. I watch their patterns. I'm not waiting to get lucky. I'm preparing to be ready when opportunity shows up." I remember standing there, stunned, because it was such a simple idea, but nobody around me was doing it. Nobody was thinking that way. Everyone else saw the factory as their ceiling. He saw it as his foundation. Everyone else was trading hours for dollars and hoping for a raise. He was trading hours for wisdom and building equity in himself. 5 years later, that man owned 3 businesses. And the guys who mocked him for reading during lunch, still at the factory, still complaining, still waiting for life to get easier. That story taught me something crucial, something I've carried with me for decades. The poor work for money, the wealthy work on themselves. You see, most people think the path to wealth is external, better job, better boss, better economy, better break. But the real path is internal. It's what you do when nobody's watching. It's the hour you spend alone becoming someone worth more in the marketplace. And here's the part that stings a little. Most people won't do it. They'll say they don't have time. They're too tired. They'll start tomorrow. But tomorrow turns into next week. Next week turns into next year. And next year turns into a lifetime of wondering why things never changed. The factory worker understood what most people miss entirely. Time is going to pass anyway. The next 5 years are coming, whether you use them or waste them. The question is, who will you be when those 5 years are up? Will you be the same person, 5 years older, still hoping for something different? Or will you be someone new, someone sharper, someone more valuable, someone the world seeks out and compensates accordingly? Now let me tell you another story, because I think in stories stick. Principles fade, but stories stay with you. Imagine two neighbors. Both have the same size yard, same soil, same amount of sunlight hitting their property. One neighbor plants a garden in the spring. Every evening after work, he spends 1 hour tending it, pulling weeds, watering the rows, checking for pests, adjusting the stakes. It doesn't look like much at first, just dirt and tiny green shoots poking through. Some days it looks like nothing's happening at all, but he keeps going. 1 hour, every single day. No excuses, rain or shine. The other neighbor, he's too busy. He's got plans, places to be, important things to do, social obligations. He'll plant his garden later, when he has more time, when things settle down, when the conditions are perfect. He's got good intentions. He talks about his garden all the time. He's researched the best seeds. He knows exactly what he wants to grow, but he hasn't planted anything yet. He's waiting. Summer comes. The first neighbor is harvesting tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, zucchini. His family eats fresh vegetables every night. There's abundance. There's satisfaction. There's the quiet pride that comes from seeing something grow because you showed up consistently. The second neighbor is still talking about his garden, still planning, still waiting for the perfect time, the perfect weekend, the perfect weather pattern. Fall arrives. The first neighbor has so much surplus he starts selling at the farmer's market on Saturdays. He's making extra income from something he built, 1 hour at a time, one evening at a time, when nobody was watching and nobody cared. The second neighbor is buying vegetables at the grocery store, spending money instead of making it, wondering why he never gets ahead, wondering why life feels so hard, wondering why other people seem to catch all the breaks. That's the difference. Not talent, not luck, not connections or privilege or circumstances. Consistent daily discipline in the hour that builds value. Your mind is a garden. Your skills are a garden. Your income potential is a garden. And gardens don't grow because you think about them. They don't grow because you have good intentions or because you talk about them at parties. Gardens grow because you tend them 1 hour every day, without exception, without negotiation. Most people are waiting for harvest season without ever planting seeds. They want the result without the routine, the reward without the ritual, the harvest without the discipline of daily tending. But life doesn't work that way. Life has always rewarded the person who shows up when nobody's watching and does the work that doesn't look important yet, the work that doesn't get applause, the work that feels small and insignificant in the moment but compounds into something extraordinary over time. Now, here's a metaphor that might help you see this even more clearly. There's a bridge between where you are right now and where you want to be. You can't see this bridge. Nobody can. It's invisible, but I promise you, it's there. And it's built one plank at a time every single day in the hour you choose to invest in yourself instead of spending on distractions. Every book you read, that's a plank. Every skill you practice, another plank. Every time you sit down and examine your thinking, question your assumptions, adjust your philosophy, refine your approach, that's another plank. And one day, maybe a year from now, maybe 5 years from now, you'll look back and realize you've crossed a distance that seemed impossible when you started. Not because you made one giant leap, not because someone handed you a helicopter, but because you laid one plank every day, because you showed up in the hour nobody sees. The wealthy build bridges, the poor wait for helicopters. The middle class complains that there's no bridge. But the wealthy, they're too busy building to complain. They're too focused on progress to worry about fairness. They understand something fundamental. You can't control the economy, but you can control your effort. You can't control the job market, but you can control your value. You can't control opportunities, but you can control your readiness. Let me tell you something that might make you uncomfortable, but it's the truth. You have plenty of time. I know you don't think you do. I know you feel busy and stretched and overwhelmed, but you have plenty of time. You just don't have any focus. And there's a massive Difference between being busy and being productive. Between motion and progress. Between activity and accomplishment. Most people are in constant motion but making no progress. They're busy all day and broke all year. Think about it honestly. How many hours did you spend last week scrolling your phone? How many hours in front of the television? How many hours in conversations that went nowhere? Complaining about things you can't control, rehashing problems without solving them. I'm not judging you. I'm asking you to be honest with yourself. Because here's the reality. You'll spend 3 hours scrolling social media, 2 hours watching shows you'll forget by tomorrow, an hour in traffic listening to the same songs, another hour. Complaining about your circumstances, but you won't spend 1 hour building the skills that could change your life. Why? Because that hour is uncomfortable. It requires you to confront your limitations, to admit what you don't know, to sit face to face with the gap between who you are and who you need to become, to acknowledge that maybe, just maybe, the reason you're not where you want to be isn't because of your boss or your background or the economy. It's because you haven't invested in becoming someone the marketplace values more highly. That's a hard pill to swallow. It's easier to blame external circumstances than to take internal responsibility. But blame doesn't build wealth. Responsibility does. The Millionaire's Hour isn't filled with entertainment. It's filled with education, self-examination, honest reflection, skill practice, the kind of work that makes you sweat mentally, not physically, the kind of work that doesn't feel like work to everyone else, so they dismiss it as unimportant. But it's the most important work you'll ever do, because everything in your life flows from who you are. Your income is a reflection of your value. Your relationships are a reflection of your character. Your opportunities are a reflection of your readiness. And here's what most people miss entirely. You don't need more time, you need better priorities. If you spent 1 hour a day for the next 5 years studying your craft, your industry, your skills, the principles of success, the patterns of wealth, you'd be unrecognizable. You'd be in a completely different tax bracket. You'd be living in a completely different reality, not because you got lucky, not because someone gave you a break, but because you became valuable, because you invested in the one asset that appreciates forever, yourself. Let me shift gears for a moment and talk about something most people misunderstand completely. The marketplace. We live in a marketplace economy. That's not political. That's just reality. And the marketplace operates on one fundamental principle. It pays for value, not effort. I've watched people work themselves to absolute exhaustion and stay poor. 80-hour weeks, sweat and sacrifice, tired all the time, stressed all the time, and still struggling to pay the bills. And I've watched other people work half as much and become wealthy. Same hours in the day, same economy, completely different results. What's the difference? Value. The marketplace doesn't care how hard you work. It doesn't care how tired you are, or how much you sacrifice, or how many hours you log. The marketplace cares about one thing. What are you worth? What problem do you solve? What value do you create? What can you do that other people can't or won't do? Your compensation is directly tied to your value, not your effort. You can work 80 hours a week digging ditches by hand and make minimum wage. Or you can work 40 hours a week solving high-level problems that require specialized knowledge and make 6 figures. Same time investment, completely different value proposition. So the question isn't, how hard am I working? The question is, am I becoming more valuable? And that's what the Millionaire's Hour is for. It's not about doing more tasks. It's not about checking more boxes or staying later at the office or grinding yourself into dust. It's about becoming a better thinker, a better communicator, a better problem solver, a better strategist. Someone the marketplace seeks out and pays premium rates for because you deliver value that's rare. This is why the wealthy read constantly, why they study relentlessly, why they invest thousands of dollars in mentors and courses and seminars and personal development. Not because they have money to waste, not because they're bored, but because they understand the economic law that governs all of life. You will never earn significantly more than you are worth. Your income has a ceiling, and that ceiling is your value. You can't negotiate your way past it. You can't hustle your way past it. You can only grow your way past it by becoming worth more. And that happens 1 hour at a time. Now, here's something I want you to really sit with for a moment because it's fundamental. Everything you have right now, your income, your relationships, your health, your lifestyle, your level of happiness, your sense of peace or lack thereof, all of it is a result of your philosophy. The way you think, the way you see the world, the beliefs you carry about yourself, about money, about what's possible, about what you deserve, about how life works. Your philosophy is the lens through which you interpret everything. And your interpretations determine your decisions. Your decisions determine your actions. Your actions determine your results. Change your philosophy, and you change your life. It's that direct. It's that powerful. Keep your philosophy, and you keep your results. You can change jobs, change cities, change relationships, change your circumstances, but if you don't change your philosophy, you'll recreate the same patterns in new environments. You'll end up right back where you started, just with a different address. Most people never examine their philosophy, ever. They inherited it from their parents, absorbed it from their environment, picked it up from their peer group, adopted it unconsciously from the culture around them, and then they wonder why they can't break free from the same patterns, the same struggles, the same limitations their parents had. It's because they're running the same mental software, the same operating system. And you can't expect different results with the same programming. The Millionaires Hour is where you rebuild your philosophy, where you expose yourself to new ideas that challenge your old thinking, where you question beliefs that have been holding you back, where you ask yourself over and over, is this thought serving me or is it limiting me? Is this belief helping me grow or is it keeping me stuck? Is this perspective accurate or is it just familiar? Let me give you a simple example. If you believe money is hard to make, you will experience that as truth. You'll find evidence for it everywhere. You'll work hard and struggle. You'll see wealthy people as lucky or corrupt or somehow different from you. You'll approach money with stress and scarcity and fear. And guess what? Money will be hard for you to make. Not because it's objectively hard, but because your philosophy creates your experience. But if you believe money flows to value, you'll experience something completely different. You'll focus on becoming more valuable. You'll study what the marketplace rewards. You'll develop skills that command higher compensation. You'll see opportunities instead of obstacles. You'll approach money with confidence and strategy. And money will flow more easily, not because you're special, but because your philosophy directs your focus, and your focus determines your actions, and your actions create your results. Both are philosophies. Both are beliefs. Both create completely different lives. So which one are you running? And more importantly, are you willing to change it if it's not serving you? Because here's the thing, you can. Your philosophy isn't set in stone. It's not permanent. It's not who you are. It's just a collection of thoughts and beliefs you've been practicing for so long they feel like truth. But they're not truth. They're just habits, mental habits. And habits can be changed. The wealthy spend time upgrading their mental software regularly. They read books that challenge their assumptions. They listen to people who think differently. They put themselves in environments that stretch their thinking. They're constantly asking, what do I need to unlearn? What old belief is holding me back? What new perspective could change everything? The poor keep running the same outdated programs, the same inherited beliefs, the same unexamined assumptions, and they expect different results. It doesn't work. It can't work. Your philosophy is your operating system. And if you're running poverty thinking in a wealth-building world, you're going to struggle. You need to update it regularly, intentionally. And that's exactly what happens in the Millionaires Hour. Now let me talk about discipline for a minute, because this is where most people get tripped up. You can set all the goals you want. You can visualize your dream life. You can create vision boards and write affirmations and get yourself all pumped up at seminars, but without discipline, none of it matters. None of it. Goals without discipline are just wishes. Dreams without discipline are just fantasies. Ambition without discipline is just noise. Discipline is doing what you need to do even when you don't feel like it, especially when you don't feel like it. It's showing up on the days you're tired, the days you're busy, the days you're discouraged, the days when nobody's watching and nobody would know if you skipped. That's discipline. And here's the truth about discipline that nobody wants to hear. It's not something you're born with. It's not genetic. It's not a personality trait. It's something you build, one decision at a time, one action at a time, 1 hour at a time. The Millionaire's Hour is your daily discipline deposit. It's proof to yourself that you're serious, that you're committed, that you're willing to trade short-term comfort for long-term success, that you're not just talking about change, you're doing the daily work that creates it. Every time you show up for that hour when you'd rather watch TV, you're building discipline. Every time you read when you're tired, you're building discipline. Every time you practice a skill when you'd rather scroll your phone, you're building discipline. And discipline, like muscle, gets stronger with use. Most people fail not because they set the wrong goals, but because they lack the daily discipline to achieve them. They start strong. They have great intentions. They're full of energy and excitement in the beginning. But then life gets hard. The newness wears off. Progress feels slow. Results aren't immediate. And they fade. They quit. They rationalize. They make excuses. They tell themselves they'll start again Monday. But Monday never comes. Or it comes and goes without action. And 5 years later, they're in the exact same place, telling the same story, making the same excuses, living the same frustrated life. But the wealthy, they show up every single day in the hour nobody sees, when it's inconvenient, when it's uncomfortable, when it would be easier to skip. They show up anyway, not because they're more motivated. Motivation fades, but because they're more disciplined. They've built the habit. They've made it non-negotiable. And that consistency compounds into results that look like overnight success to everyone else. But it wasn't overnight. It was 1,000 nights, 1,000 hours, 1,000 small decisions to show up when it was easier to quit. Discipline isn't glamorous. It's not exciting. It doesn't make for good social media content, but it's the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. And without it, your goals stay on one side of the river while you stay on the other, watching, wishing, wondering why nothing ever changes. The answer is simple. No discipline, no bridge, no crossing. Let me share with you one of the most important principles I've ever learned. Something that's been true in my life and true in the life of every successful person I've studied. Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day. That's it. That's the secret. Not big heroic actions, not one lucky break, not a single massive effort, just small, consistent, seemingly insignificant decisions that compound over time into extraordinary results. Read 10 pages a day? Doesn't sound like much, does it? But that's 300 pages a month, 3,600 pages a year, 12 full-length books. In 5 years, you've read 60 books. You're now in the top 1% of educated people in your field. You know things your competition doesn't know. You see patterns others miss. You have insights that give you an edge. All from 10 pages a day. That's it. Save $10 a day? Seems almost pointless, right? What's $10? A couple coffees. A fast food meal. Nothing significant. But that's $300 a month. $3,600 a year. In 10 years, with compound interest, that's over $50,000. That's a down payment on a house. That's a business startup fund. That's security, that's options, that's freedom, all from $10 a day. Spend 1 hour improving your communication skills, practice speaking clearly, reading out loud, studying great communicators, working on your voice, your vocabulary, your ability to articulate ideas. In a year, you're a different speaker. In 5 years, you're someone people pay to hear. Someone companies hire to lead. Someone whose words carry weight and influence, all from 1 hour a day. The magic isn't in the single act. It's in the repetition. It's in showing up when you're tired, when you're busy, when you'd rather do something else, when nobody's watching and nobody cares and nobody would know if you skipped. That's where character is built. That's where success is forged. In the quiet, consistent, unglamorous discipline of doing what needs to be done day after day after day, whether you feel like it or not. And here's the flip side that nobody talks about, but everyone needs to hear. Small daily neglects create disastrous lives. The same principle that builds also destroys, just in reverse. Skip reading? Nothing happens today, or tomorrow, or next week. But in 5 years, you're exactly where you are now, no wiser, no sharper, no more valuable. You're just older. And the world moved on without you. Skip saving, nothing catastrophic happens immediately. You still eat, you still have a roof, but in 10 years you're broke, you're stressed, you're dependent. You have no options, no security, no margin for error. And you're wondering how you got here, why life is so hard, why everyone else seems to have it easier. Skip personal development, skip the work on yourself. Nothing changes today. But in 20 years, you're bitter, you're stuck, you're full of regret. You're angry at a world that passed you by while you were busy being comfortable, while you were avoiding the uncomfortable hour that could have changed everything. The same principle that builds also destroys. It's like the law of gravity. It works both ways. You can use it to your advantage or you can let it work against you, but you can't escape it. The question is, which side are you on? Are you practicing the small disciplines that build success, or are you indulging in the small neglects that guarantee failure? Most people know what to do. That's not the problem. The problem is they don't do what they know. They have the information. They've heard the advice. They've read the books, or at least they know. They should. But they don't apply it. They don't practice it. They don't make it part of their daily routine. And information without application is just entertainment. It makes you feel good for a moment, but it doesn't change anything. The wealthy don't just consume information. They apply it. They practice it. They live it. They take one idea and implement it until it becomes automatic, until it becomes part of who they are. And then they take another idea and do the same thing. That's how transformation happens. Not all at once, not with one big breakthrough, but with small, consistent application of simple principles over time. Now let me talk about something that might make you uncomfortable, but it's vitally important. You become the average of what you consume. Show me what you read, what you watch, what you listen to, and I'll show you your future. It's that direct. It's that predictable. Because your mind is constantly being shaped by the input you give it. Garbage in, garbage out. Excellence in, excellence out. There's no way around it. The wealthy are obsessed with input. They guard what enters their mind like it's sacred territory, because they know that what goes in determines what comes out. They know that every book, every conversation, every piece of content is either lifting them up or pulling them down. There's no neutral. Everything is either adding to their value or subtracting from their time, their focus, their energy, their potential. Most people spend their evenings consuming entertainment. There's nothing wrong with entertainment in moderation. But when it becomes your default, when it's how you spend every free moment, you're training your brain to seek pleasure instead of growth. You're conditioning yourself for passivity instead of productivity. You're choosing comfort over progress. And over time, that choice compounds into a life of mediocrity. The wealthy spend their evenings consuming education, not because they're boring, not because they don't know how to relax, but because they understand the long-term return. They understand that 1 hour of learning is worth 100 hours of entertainment when it comes to building the life they want. They're playing a different game. They're thinking in years and decades, not minutes and days. Every book you read either lifts you or leaves you unchanged. Every conversation either sharpens you or dulls you. Every hour of content either adds to your value or subtracts from your time. And time is the one resource you can never get back. You can make more money, you can build new relationships, you can change careers, but you can't make more time. Once it's gone forever. So the question becomes, what are you trading your time for? The Millionaires Hour is where you curate your input, where you deliberately choose what shapes your thinking, where you protect your mind from the noise and feed it the signal, where you say no to what everyone else is consuming and say yes to what successful people consume. It's not about being superior. It's not about judging others. It's about being intentional. It's about recognizing that your mind is your most valuable asset, and it needs to be fed quality fuel if you want quality results. If you spend an hour a day listening to complainers, you'll become one. Guaranteed. If you surround yourself with people who make excuses, you'll start making excuses. If you consume content that reinforces limiting beliefs, you'll stay limited. But if you spend an hour a day studying success principles, you'll embody them. If you surround yourself with people who think bigger, you'll start thinking bigger. If you consume content that challenges your assumptions, and expand your vision, you'll grow into that vision. Your mind is a garden, remember? You can plant weeds or roses, but you can't plant nothing. Something is always growing. The question is, are you choosing what it is? Are you being intentional about what you allow in, or are you just passively consuming whatever comes your way, whatever's trending, whatever everyone else is watching? Because passive consumption leads to passive results, and passive results lead to a passive life. A life where things happen to you instead of through you. A life of reaction instead of creation. The wealthy are active curators of their mental diet. They choose their books carefully. They choose their conversation strategically. They choose their content intentionally. They're not just consuming to pass time. They're consuming to grow, to learn, to become. And that makes all the difference. Let me give you some practical guidance now, because I don't want you to leave here with just inspiration. Inspiration fades. What you need is a plan, a practical, actionable plan for how to structure and protect this millionaire's hour. Because if you don't have a plan, it won't happen. Life will fill that hour with something else. It always does. You have to be intentional. You have to be strategic. You have to create structure around it. First things first, this hour will not magically appear. You have to create it. And you have to protect it like your life depends on it. Because in a very real sense, it does. Your future life depends on what you do in this hour today. Look at your day. Look at your schedule. Find 1 hour. I don't care when it is. Early morning before everyone else wakes up. Lunch break. Evening after work. Late at night after the kids are in bed. It doesn't matter when. What matters is consistency. Same time. Every day, non-negotiable. Put it on your calendar. Treat it like a doctor's appointment you can't miss. Because in a way, it is exactly that. It's an appointment with the person you're becoming. It's maintenance for your future. And here's the key that most people miss. Turn off your phone. Close the door. Eliminate distractions. Tell your family this hour is sacred. This hour is not for multitasking. It's not for half attention. It's for focused, intentional, undivided growth. Now, here's how I recommend structuring your millionaire hour, and I've found this works beautifully if you stick with it. Divide the hour into 3 parts, 20 minutes each. First 20 minutes, read, but not just anything. Not fiction, although fiction has its place. Not news, which is mostly noise. Not social media, which is designed to distract you. Read books that challenge your thinking, biographies of successful people, philosophy, business principles, personal development, books about the fundamentals of life, discipline, character, wealth, wisdom, relationships, health. And when you read, engage with the material. Don't just passively scan the words. Read with a pen in your hand. Underline the sentences that hit you. Circle the ideas that challenge you. Write notes in the margins. Ask questions. Talk back to the author in your mind. This isn't leisure reading. This is active learning. You're not trying to finish the book quickly. You're trying to extract value. Some pages might take you the full 20 minutes because you're thinking deeply about one idea. That's perfect. That's exactly what you should be doing. Second 20 minutes, reflect. This is the part most people skip, and it's the most important part. Don't move on to the next task. Don't jump to something else. Sit with what you just read. Let it sink in. Ask yourself questions. How does this apply to my life? What do I need to change based on this idea? What belief is this challenging? Where am I making excuses that this principle exposes? Write it down. Journal it. Let it get uncomfortable. Let it reveal things about yourself you'd rather not see. That's growth. That's transformation. Reflection is where reading becomes wisdom. Without reflection, reading is just entertainment. You consume it and forget it. But when you pause and reflect, when you wrestle with the ideas and apply them to your own life, that's when real change happens. That's when the idea moves from the page into your mind, from your mind into your heart, from your heart into your actions. That's the pathway of transformation. Third 20 minutes, practice. Take one idea from what you read and put it into immediate action. If you read about communication, practice speaking out loud. Record yourself. Listen back. Notice your filler words, your pace, your clarity. Work on it. If you read about financial principles, pull out your budget, look at your spending, make one adjustment today. If you read about discipline, identify one area where you're currently weak and make a specific plan to strengthen it starting now. This isn't passive learning. This is active transformation. You're not just collecting information. You're building new skills. You're reinforcing new habits. You're becoming someone different, one practice session at a time. And practice is what makes the difference between knowing and doing, between information and transformation, between wanting to change and actually changing. Now here's something critical. Focus on one area at a time. Don't try to fix your entire life in 1 hour. Don't try to read about finances and health and relationships and career and spirituality and time management all at once. That's a recipe for overwhelm and failure. Pick one area, one domain, and go deep for 90 days. Maybe it's your finances. Spend the next 90 days focused entirely on understanding money, value, wealth-building principles, investment basics, spending psychology, the mindset of wealthy people. Read nothing but financial books. Think about nothing but how to increase your value and your income. Practice nothing but better financial decisions. 90 days of deep, focused, intentional financial education. Maybe it's your communication. Spend 3 months reading about speaking, writing, persuasion, clarity, influence, storytelling. Practice daily. Record yourself. Study great communicators. Work on your voice, your vocabulary, your ability to organize and present ideas. 90 days of focused communication development. Maybe it's your mindset. Spend a season examining your beliefs, your self-talk, your philosophy, your worldview. Question everything. Challenge assumptions. Rebuild your thinking from the ground up. 90 days of focused mental and philosophical work. One area. 90 days. Deep focus, then move to the next. Depth beats breadth every single time. The wealthy are not generalists who know a little about everything. They're specialists who've mastered a few key areas that create the most value. They go deep, they become experts. They develop real competence, not surface-level familiarity. And competence is what the marketplace rewards. Now I want you to do something that most people won't do, but that will change everything if you do it. Track your progress. Keep a simple log, just a notebook or a document on your computer. Write the date. Write what you read. Write one key insight you got from it. Write one action you took because of it. That's it. Simple, but powerful. At the end of each week, review your log. Look at what you've learned. Notice the patterns. Notice how your thinking is changing, how your language is changing, how your actions are changing. At the end of each month, do a deeper review. Ask yourself, who was I 30 days ago? Who am I now? What's different? What have I learned that I didn't know? What am I doing that I wasn't doing? What results am I seeing? You'll be shocked at how much you've grown, how much you've learned, how different you think. And that log becomes proof that you're not the same person you were 90 days ago. Proof that the hour is working. Proof that you're growing. And on the days you don't feel like showing up, and there will be many days like that, that log reminds you why you started. It shows you how far you've come. And it pulls you back in when motivation fades. Because here's the reality. Motivation is unreliable. Some days you'll wake up inspired and energized and ready to conquer the world. Other days you'll wake up tired and discouraged and wondering why you're even trying. That's normal. That's human. But discipline doesn't wait for motivation. Discipline shows up regardless of how you feel. And your log is your accountability partner when motivation fails. Now let me talk about something that's going to test you more than anything else. Protecting this hour from interruptions. Life will try to steal this hour from you. Constantly. Emergencies will pop up. People will need you. Distractions will creep in. Opportunities for entertainment will present themselves. Fatigue will whisper, just skip today. You've earned a break. You can start again tomorrow. You have to be ruthless about protecting this hour. And I don't use that word lightly. Ruthless. This hour is not free time. It's not flexible time. It's not I'll do it if I have time. It's sacred time. It's protected time. It's the most important hour of your day because it's the hour that determines who you're becoming. And who you're becoming determines everything else. Say no to good things so you can say yes to the great things. Say no to comfort so you can say yes to growth. Say no to what everyone else is doing so you can say yes to what successful people do. Your future self is depending on this hour. That person you want to become, that life you want to live, that income you want to earn, that respect you want to command, it all starts in this hour. Don't let them down by giving this hour away to things that don't matter. I know that sounds harsh. I know it's easier to be flexible and accommodating and to go with the flow. But flexibility is what keeps people stuck. Flexibility is what allows life to push you around. Wealthy people aren't flexible about the fundamentals. They're rigid about the things that matter. They're non-negotiable about the disciplines that build success. And this hour is one of those non-negotiables. Now here's the final piece, and it might be the most important thing I tell you today. Let it compound. Trust the process. This won't feel powerful at first. You won't see immediate results. You won't wake up wealthy after week 1. You won't feel like a different person after a month. In fact, the first few weeks might feel pointless. You might wonder if it's even working. You might be tempted to quit because you can't see the progress yet. But compound interest isn't just financial, it's intellectual, it's emotional, it's philosophical, it's spiritual. Every day you invest in yourself, you're earning interest on your value. It's invisible at first, imperceptible, but it's accumulating, compounding, growing. And one day, maybe in 6 months, maybe in 2 years, maybe sooner, you'll look around and realize everything is different. You think differently, you speak differently, you carry yourself differently. People treat you differently. Opportunities find you differently. Money flows differently. And it won't feel like magic. It won't feel like luck. You'll know exactly how it happened. 1 hour at a time, 1 day at a time, 1 discipline at a time. While everyone else was scrolling, you were studying. While everyone else was complaining, you were practicing. While everyone else was wishing for a better life, you were building one. That's the power of compound growth. That's the magic of consistent discipline over time. The wealthy understand delayed gratification in a way the poor never do. The poor want results now. They want the payoff immediately. If it doesn't feel good today, if it doesn't show results this week, they quit. But the wealthy think in years and decades. They plant seeds knowing they won't see the harvest for seasons. They make investments knowing the return is years away. They do the work today that pays off tomorrow, next year, next decade. They trust the compound. They respect the process. They show up even when they can't see the progress yet. So here's where we are. You now understand what the wealthy have always known. Success is built in private, 1 hour at a time, in the moments nobody applauds. It's not about working more, it's about becoming more. It's not about what you do at your job, it's about what you do after your job. In the hour that separates dreamers from doers, talkers from builders, the stuck from the successful, this is the hour where you stop being a passenger in your own life and start being the driver. Where you stop reacting to circumstances and start creating them. Where you stop waiting for opportunity and start becoming the kind of person opportunity seeks out. Where you stop trading time for money and start building value that multiplies. And I'll be honest with you, most people won't do this. They'll hear these words, nod their head, feel inspired for 10 minutes, and go right back to their old habits because change is uncomfortable. Growth requires sacrifice. Discipline demands consistency. And most people would rather stay comfortable and stuck than get uncomfortable and grow. That's just the truth. It's not judgment. It's observation. But you're not most people. If you were, you wouldn't still be here. You wouldn't have listened this long. You wouldn't have let these words sink in the way they have. You're someone who's tired of excuses, tired of waiting, tired of watching others live the life you know in your bones you're capable of. And you're ready to do something about it. You're ready to stop talking and start doing. Stop wishing and start building. Stop hoping and start becoming. So here's my challenge to you. And I mean this with everything in me. Start today, not tomorrow, not next Monday when you're more ready, not next month when things settle down. Today, right now, as soon as you finish here, find your hour. Look at your schedule and protect that time. Decide what area you're going to focus on first. Buy the first book. Make the first plan. take the first step. Do something, anything that moves you from intention to action. Because intention without action is just another form of delusion. And remember this truth, because it's one of the most important things I can leave you with. You are not behind. You are not too old. You are not too late. You are not too broken or too damaged or too far gone. Those are stories. Those are excuses. Those are lies. You've been telling yourself to justify staying comfortable, but they're not true. What is true is this. You are one decision away from a completely different life. 1 hour away. 1 discipline away. 1 commitment away. The marketplace is waiting for the value you're about to build. Your family is waiting for the person you're about to become. Your future is waiting for the discipline you're about to develop. The life you want is waiting for you to become the person who can live it. And that person is built 1 hour at a time, starting today. Give yourself the gift of that 1 hour. Every single day. Make it sacred. Protect it. Use it. Honor it. And 5 years from now, you'll look back at this moment as the turning point, the day everything changed. Not because life got easier, it probably won't, but because you got better. You got wiser, you got more valuable, you got more disciplined, and everything else flowed from that. If this resonated with you, if you felt something shift inside, if you recognized yourself in these words, if you're ready to finally do what you've been putting off, do me a favor. Hit that like button so I know this message reached you. Leave a comment telling me what your 1 hour is going to be about. What area are you going to focus on? What's the first book you're going to read? What's the first discipline you're going to build? I want to hear from you. I want to know you're taking this seriously. And subscribe, because I'm going to keep sharing the principles that separate those who dream from those who do, those who wish from those who build, those who talk from those who transform. Now go. Your hour is waiting. Your future is waiting. The person you're meant to become is waiting. Stop reading. Stop consuming. Start doing. Start becoming. Start building. 1 hour at a time, starting right now.